brief walkthrough of the group assignment for this next week. In the group assignment, you're going to be teaching a lesson using the attached character traits lesson plan as a springboard. The idea here is that you're in field, imaginary, that the COVID didn't happen and that everyone's in field, and imagine also that you are teaching 4th or 5th grade language arts and you are doing this lesson on comparing character traits. The objective is that students will be able to compare and contrast characters based on their character traits. And then there are some key terms and so on. It goes through a bunch of other stuff in the lesson. All great. We're going to imagine that your teacher says, this is what I did last year. Using this as a starting point, you need to figure out sub-goals. In other words, this is a pretty broad goal. I would like you to think about how do you build that given all this other information that she provides, what's really going on. You should have 2 or 3 sub-goals that you should order into a progression. This is something you need to do as a group, okay? And if you look at the requirements here, I want you to do this by Wednesday. So sometime in the beginning of the week, you and your group need to figure out how to meet for 30 minutes at the most. It should probably only take you 15. Make sure you go to that meeting well prepared. You can use WebEx or Zoom or FaceTime or any video chatting that you want to use. It's all there for all the students. Zoom is also doing things for free during this time. So use something so you can have some face-to-face, so to speak, contact with your group members and figure out how you want this lesson to go. Give the general plan about what you're going to do. You can follow a lot in that lesson plan if you want, but you don't have to. So think about how you would teach it. In the explanations, you can go to the group member document and you can see that there are groups, 16 of them, usually 4 members in a group, and then each member has to target 2 of the different skills that we have talked about. Okay? When we look at what that looks like, you'll have first at the top of if I clicked on this, it would take me here. This is your group page. Lesson objectives, I want you to list your sub-goals here. Alignment, here you're going to be telling me how you're going to demonstrate or make sure that everything is in alignment, from the learning objectives down to all the assessments that you're using. Building a learning progression. Here you need to describe how each step along the way builds on the previous step and how each of the previous steps prepares students for the next step. If you I would suggest looking at that Perfect Ed TPA. Meaningful context, again, describe how you would make this come alive for students. Student assets, again, you're going to tell me how you're going to use things that the students bring with them in terms of their prior academic learning and their personal, cultural, or community assets. Language demands, the lesson plan provides a lot of this stuff here for you, so make sure you look at that. But think about what the major function or language function is, and at least one of those vocab, discourse, or syntax things. What is your assessment plan? How will you describe how you will assess students to make sure that they're consistently in that zone of proximal development? Misconceptions. Think about any misconceptions that you might have. This one might be tough, especially in this language arts, but do your best. And then differentiated supports. Based on what you have, how are you going to support kids who aren't quite ready for this lesson, and how are you going to extend this for kids who can already do this sort of thing? So that's the assignment. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, by Wednesday, you and your group should have met, and those goals and the general plan of what you're going to do needs to be ironed out. By Sunday, and again, everything's going to be due Sunday at midnight, you should have completed your independent work. It makes sense, too, that you should look at what other people have done. For example, if you are doing alignment, you probably need to look at what the assessment person is doing, because part of alignment is assessment. So make sure that you're on the same page and communicate who you need to communicate with. I'm imagining that all this work will take you about 2 hours, and that is kind of the general rule, 2 to 3 hours per credit per week. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know.